And we've been hearing just about so much of the timeline that led into this. But also what stood out to me in all of this is that apparently he had been saying, according to prosecutors, that this was a plan that was only set in motion for a little over a week before this shooting took place.
That's exactly right. And it's a really great point. So it's just over a week. Think about it. Charlie Kirk and his team had blasted out on the internet, hey, we're going to do this prove me wrong event with the date and the location. And we also learned that he even told his dad, according to prosecutors, that he deemed that a stupid place to hold it. And on that note, what did he write? He said, I have the chance to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. So the other thing we learned about, which fills in these gaps, the minutes and hours immediately following the attack. Did he drive straight back? Well, no, he actually lingered in his vehicle right by the campus as police were racing up to the roof and they found the imprints of his forearm and his palm. And they realized which sort of direction he ran in, and they were following his track. He stayed right there. He was thinking, I want to go back and retrieve that gun. So it took him a while to leave the immediate area. And that image is it's just such a strange turn of events. He did not get out of Dodge. He stayed in the area, worried about that gun, realizing that he might have fingerprints on that gun, and he was communicating all of this to the roommate. But what just stands out to me, stunning, is that he still thought that he would get away with it. And like I said earlier, he was more worried about appearing like he'd lost the gun than taking Charlie Kirk's life.
It is really just remarkable when you consider that. Also, that he seemed relatively plugged in to the news coverage that was surrounding this in the immediate aftermath. If he's talking to his roommate, according to prosecutors, saying
he's on his phone scrolling, seeing news.
Seeing that someone was arrested, that someone was handcuffed behind all of this, and saying they don't have the right person. But he was saying very much
up to date on the fact that initially there was a man in his 60s who was actually known to local law enforcement who was taken into custody and then released. He knew about that. He knew that another young man who apparently was wearing similar clothing to him was also taken into custody. He didn't seem to express fear that he was about to be apprehended by police. He was just reporting what he was seeing. However, the fact that he wasn't able to go back to retrieve the gun, that seemed troubling to him and seemed like worrisome to him that might lead to his arrest.
And I also want to ask you about these etchings that prosecutors are talking about that were on the cartridges inside that rifle. Some of them, I mean, these are very pointed statements. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Absolutely. Some of this we've reported before, but it was interesting to see it all laid out. There were references to gaming language. He was very active online and was a participant in the gaming community. So on the cartridge that he actually used was written it's notices bulge OWO. What's this? So we've been reporting that, but it's a gaming reference. The second etching, which was on a casing that wasn't used, it was not because he only fired one shot. Hey, fascist, catch. A third, oh, Bella, ciao, Bella, which is a reference to fascism in Italy and an anti-fascist slogan. And then the fourth one, if you read this, you are gay, LMAO. It's interesting that this Utah attorney wanted to lay all of that out. We did hear some of it from the governor at the press conference Friday morning, but this was more fulsome. And again, as Carter noted, there were other bullets also with etchings on them. So he was clearly, during that week or so that he was planning this, he had prepared a lot of these.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about, when you talk about this fulsome news conference, that they're giving us so much information. Do you think that's in part because there has been so much speculation and such an intense spotlight on this case?
I do. The Utah state attorney repeatedly said that the interest from the public is understandable. The tremendous interest from the public. There's been a lot of reporting, and I think he wanted to just lay out the facts so that incorrect information that's been floating around, to tamp that down and just lay out really what's also in the public record now, because all of this is going to be in that criminal information that is filed in court. That's how it works in Utah State Court. He has to present the information to prove that there is enough evidence to take this to trial. That's how it works. And so that's what he did. But he really laid it all out. I mean, this is the first time we're hearing about his mother, that his mother actually called him the morning after the shooting, having seen the photos, thinking it looked like him, and he told her, I'm sick today, I'm homesick. It really is that mother-son relationship. It reminds you this young man was just 22 years old, very young person, still communicating with his parents in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And Anna, I know that we're going to be talking again later today because of this court appearance that we're waiting for. That'll be at 5 o'clock here on the East Coast, 3 o'clock there locally. What else do you think we can possibly expect coming forward? Could there be the possibility of additional charges, even with the death penalty on the table here?
Well, the FBI continues to investigate, so that part is not over. They're probably interviewing people as we speak and continue to pour through his online life. If they find more evidence that would merit another charge, they can bring that in the Utah State case. They can add those charges, although it seemed like they feel pretty confident, given the fact that the roommate was so cooperative, showed all those messages. Maybe they'll stumble upon more evidence, but it seems like they feel confident they've got it all. Of course, on the federal side, the feds are looking for evidence that would meet that federal bar to file charges. So that can mean, was there crossing state lines? They might be looking for a way to connect this to terrorism. They haven't gotten that yet, probably, which is why we haven't seen charges.
Anna Schecter, we always appreciate your analysis. Thank you very much for being at the table here with us.